Morning. Just after coming back from the airport, dropped my son to Dublin Airport. He's going to Perth in Australia. He's joining my other son, that's Tomas, and he's joining my other son, Caoimhín. Caoimhín is in Perth in Australia, and I have a daughter. She's in Frankfurt in Germany, and I had a good conversation with Tomas and that going up to the airport. I said, like, why aren't you stay here? There's work here and whatever, blah, blah, blah. He says, Dad, I'll never be able to buy a house in this country. I can't rent a flat. I cannot rent a flat. It's too expensive. You can't manage it. He says, to run a car, rent a flat, he says, everything between that, food, everything, price of everything, he says, you'd just be drawing a week's wages to cover your outgoings. So there's no way we're staying here. And he's joining Caoimhín in Perth in Australia. He says the migrants are getting everything. They're coming in here, they're sucking everything out of the system. With the assistance of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour Party, Social Democrats. He says Sinn Féin, he says, people for profit, he says, there's no one for the Irish people. There's no one, he says. Nobody cares about us. He says, it's all migrants. They're fleeing war. They're fleeing war. They're fleeing nothing, a lot of them. They're fleeing climate change. They're fleeing hot weather. I'm going to hot weather, he says. What's on about? It's rubbish, he says. We all know, he says, all the youth of the country know. There's none of this all rubbish. It's all made up. Like, it's a game. Everything is about just creating a catastrophe, like, you know. Get people thinking, oh, the world's going to flood. If the world's going to flood in 5 years' time, he says, sure, the game's over. It's rubbish. He says, we're going to the airport, Daddy. He says, 6 below, 5 below. He says, what's that on about? Our CO2 emissions is 0.4. If we didn't have that, there'd be no growth. He says, everything is built on a lie. Everything is built to capture the imagination of the Irish public throughout the world. It's a lie. Like, we know it's a lie. They'll go on with the lie. You know, it's building, going down the town, he says, in Newbridge and that, the cycle lanes in everywhere. They're pushing people nearly getting killed from out of cars. We looked at the bike lanes, nobody on them. One person for 4 hours, he says. One person on a bike for 4 hours. This is just crazy stuff that's going on. But he says, the main reason I'm going to the airport, he says, we'll never get a house in Ireland. We'll never, ever be able to purchase a house. He says, we can't rent. It's too expensive. It's mental stuff that's going on. So we're going, and the migrants are going to take over in time. It's only a matter. They come to take over. He says, they will just take over the country. They'll go for Sharia law and all this. This will happen. The Muslims won't accept our culture. They just won't accept our culture. Well, I says that's why myself and Christopher McCormick were standing in the local elections, and there's people standing throughout the country. We want to turn this around, and we're going to turn this around. We're going to, like, people sit back and do nothing. Protesting and that, it'll get you somewhere, it gets you a little bit, but it gets you nowhere. He says, what we are doing is we're going to stand in the local elections, and we want independence. Don't associate with parties. You stand as an independent. You get into Kildare County Council, to Kilkenny County Council, Mayo County Council. You'll make a difference. Because when they're sitting around the table making all their decisions, where they're making money out of this migrant crack, you know, Every one of those migrants, if you have them, 4 in a room, you get €110 per head. Per head. It's racketeering of the highest calibre. Racketeering. Who pays for it? Irish public pays for it. The lads going to work. The lads buying your diesel above in the garage. What do you pay for it? Nearly €2. Nearly €2. It nearly costs you that to get to the pump. And that's all going in taxes. Yeah? All taxes. That's to pay for the migrants. That's to pay for these people who shouldn't be in our country. Shouldn't be in our country. Taking over our country. Yeah? That's what you're paying for. Destroying your culture. Everything is going to be gone. Everything. Alright, leave it at that. Talk forever.